What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to finish off having a look at that lovely BT8 FAQ. It has been published over in Japan. It has been translated by the lovely folks over at Game Academia, specifically the lovely Jason Snowjacks, who I have on many occasions described as one of the loveliest people in the Digimon TCG community, and quite frankly, I feel very confident making that assertion. Yesterday we went up to and including the black Digimon, so today we're going to start off talking about the purple Digimon, and we are going to be starting off with that lovely new Psychmon. Now here it just says, on all turns, players can't reduce play costs. What kind of effect is this? Well, what it does is it nullifies any reduced play cost by X. You and your opponent will be unable to activate effects that reduce play costs and must pay the play costs written on the cards in order to play them. Ha! When this Digimon is in play, can play without paying its cost effects activate? Yes, because playing without paying its cost is not an effect that reduces play costs, so it can activate, i.e., if you're playing for free, yay! If you're reducing play cost, boo! Now, moving on a little bit, we have got ourselves a new Demi-Devimon. When you play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add a Tamer card to your hand, and trash one purple Digimon among them. Well, does it have to be a purple Digimon that you trash? Yes. Literally says purple Digimon right there in the name. Let's not overthink this. Soulmon has an inheritable skill on your turn once per turn. When a card is trashed from your deck, you gain a memory. Well, does it activate when a card reveals cards from your deck and then trashes any remaining cards? No, we saw this ruling in the previous video. You have to actually trash cards from your deck. Revealing cards and trashing any you don't pick is not the same. Now, Skull Satamon is another one of those Digimon that I'm going to be honest with you, I never heard of until I saw it in the TCG, and I'm not embarrassed about that. It's got an evolution skill which says, on your turn, once per turn, when cards are trashed from your deck, gain a memory. Same skill as before, same ruling as before. If you look at a bunch of cards but trash the ones you don't pick, no, that does not count. No, a Phantomon Fall Down mode is one of the more interesting cards that has come around in this particular set. When you are Digivolving, if you have a purple Digivolution card, delete an opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. If it has a yellow Digivolution card, trigger recovery +1 deck. And we saw rulings like this in the previous video. If it has both purple and yellow evolution cards, do you get to do both? Yes. If you have a dual color Digimon, which is both yellow and purple, but that's the only yellow or purple, do you get to do both? Yes, because it's still a yellow and it's still a purple. Now, Chimeramon I described as one of the most exciting cards that we've ever seen, and I stand by this. It does many things, but one of the things is, on your turn, this Digimon is also treated as the colour of the cards in its Digivolution cards, and if it has 4 or more colours, it gains 4,000 power. What kind of effect is this? Well, it means that in addition to its own colour, which is white, it is also treated as the colours of the cards in its evolution sources. For example, when it has a red card and a green card in its evolution sources, then it is a 3-colour card, white, red, and green. Incidentally, we have seen cards that refer to 2 or more colours. Things like this are the reason why. Now, Inoue Miyako, or Yloe Inoue, I'm going to be honest with you, right? I'm not great at the tamer names. We all know this by now. But she's got a lovely skill. When your Digimon with 2 or more colours attacks, you can suspend this tamer to delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3,000 power or less. Does it count the colour of the attacking Digimon's evolution sources? No, that does not make it a dual colour Digimon. If it's got 2 or more colours, it means the Digimon itself must have 2 or more colours. Digivolution sources do not count. Sorry about that. Now, TK Takaishi is coming back as a blue tamer in the set, and on your opponent's turn, when your opponent's Digimon attacks your blue Digimon, you may suspend this tamer to draw 1 card. Nice and simple. What if your opponent attacks a non-blue Digimon, but you choose to block with a blue Digimon? We've seen this before, it doesn't count. They are not attacking a blue Digimon. You are choosing to block with a new Digimon. That is not the same thing. Now, Davis and Ken come in as the only dual tamer in the set. At the start of your main phase, if you have blue Digimon in play, gain a memory. If you have green Digimon in play, gain a memory. And you know where this is going. If you've got both, do you gain 2 memory? Yes. If you've only got 1, but it's both blue and green dual color, do you gain both? Yes. Yes, you do. We know that one by now. Now, Cody Hida is in the set as well, and what we've got here is, on your turn, when your Digimon with 2 or more colors attacks, you may suspend this tamer to give one of your opponent's Digimon minus 2,000 power for the turn. Does it count evolution sources? Nope. We saw that ruling a moment ago. Nothing has changed. Now, Digimon Emperor comes in here as a very exciting card. And what we've got here is, on your opponent's turn, when your opponent's level 3 Digimon moves from the breeding area to the battle area, gain yourself 2 memory. Okay. Well, what if they're cheating using cards like Mimi Tachikawa that are moving your Digimon from the breeding area, but not during the breeding phase? Does that actually count? Yeah, that's fine. You're still getting the memory. Because it says on your opponent's turn, not during your opponent's breeding phase. So that's absolutely fine. Now, Static Force is a new option card. I should mention our translated proxies here do come from the lovely folks over at digimoncard.dev. No guarantee these will be the official English names of the option cards, but they've tended to be pretty good in the past. You delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 4,000 power or less, and then if you have a Digimon with 2 or more colors, or a Digimon with a Digivolution card with 2 or more colors, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 7,000 power instead. Well, does this card's 2 or more colors in its evolution sources include Digimon with 1 red card and 1 blue card in its evolution sources? No. It is looking for dual color Digimon. It is only counting single Digimon who have more than 1 color. That is very important. Not 2 single, 1 double. Does it include Digimon like Shakumon, who for instance have skills saying, hey, it's also treated as a blue Digimon? No. When it's in play, it's treated as a blue Digimon, but this is a different thing, unfortunately. You're not winning with this one, alright? Unfortunately, you have to have an actual dual color Digimon. Moving on then, we've got ourselves Crimson Blaze. You reduce the cost of it in your hand by 1 for each Digimon your opponent has in play. And then you delete all your opponent's Digimon with 6,000 power or less. And your opponent cannot play Digimon by effects until the end of their next turn. Well, if my opponent has 7 Digimon in play, and the play cost is reduced by 7, do I gain a memory because it's a 6 cost card? No. And the wording here is important. If you gained a memory for each Digimon your opponent had in play, you could actually end up with more memory than you started, but you're not gaining a memory, you are reducing the cost. You can't reduce the cost lower than 0. After using this card, I attack and a security check flips open a Digimon with a security skill. Does it still get played? No. Because security Digimon are Digimon that are played using an effect, and we've already said that your opponent cannot play Digimon using an effect, so actually that Digimon would go to the trash and would not be played, which is clearly one of the more hilarious uses for this particular card. Ha! We're also getting ourselves Innocence Blizzard, great name for a card. Trash the bottom Digivolution card of all of your opponent's Digimon, then up to 3 of your opponent's Digimon with no Digivolution cards cannot attack or block until the end of your opponent's next turn. Okay. Well, after I use a card, my opponent doesn't have any Digimon without evolution sources, so I cannot target anyone for the cannot attack or block. But then, if a Digimon without evolution sources is put into play, Can I target that one since I didn't target any before? No. You have to target them at the time you play the card. If there are no valid targets at the time you play the card gutted, you're just not getting any valid targets, and you can be sad about that if you want, but unfortunately that's the way it is. Now, we've also got ourselves Disaster Blaster. This is a card whereby one of your opponent's Digimon loses 3,000 power for the turn, and if you have a Digimon with 2 or more colours, or a Digimon with a card that has 2 or more colours in its Digivolution cards, they lose 6,000 power instead. Same wording as we saw on a previous card, same ruling. No, you cannot use 2 single colour cards, it must be a dual colour card. And does it include stuff like Shakumon? No, it doesn't, because they're not actual dual colour Digimon, so no, they don't count. Gutted. Plasma Shot says that if you have a Digimon with armor in its traits in play, you can use this option card without meeting its color requirements, which is quite nice. And then one of your opponent's Digimon loses 4,000 power for the turn, and for each card with armor in its traits in your trash, all of your opponent's Digimon lose 1,000 power for the turn. If I have one armor stage card in my trash, does the Digimon that loses 4,000 power also lose an additional 1,000 power? Yes. First you lower all of them by 4,000, and then all of them lose 1,000, even if they've just lost the 4,000. Again, seems kind of fun. The one with the name I'm not even going to try and pronounce, but it's the one with Shivamon on it. You may suspend one of your Digimon to suspend one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers, and whatever you suspend cannot unsuspend until the end of your opponent's next turn. Okay. If I target my opponent's Digimon or Tamer that is already resting, can I then use that to just stop them unsuspending? No. You can target them with this option card just to play it, but then they were not rested using the card, so they will unsuspend at the regular time. They only unsuspend late if they were actually rested by the card, not if they were targeted by the card. That's fairly important. Dark Gaia Force is an 8-cost card that lets you choose any number of your opponent's Digimon whose total play costs add up to 15 or less, and delete the bloomin' lot of them. What does that mean? Well, it means you look at a bunch of Digimon, you add them up until they get to 15, and they all go bye-bye. So 2 6s, a 6, a 4, and a 2, 6 2s, and a 3, things of that nature. Can I choose in a way that the total play cost is less than 15 on purpose? Yes. However, you do, if you play the card, have to choose at least one Digimon with a play cost of 15 or less. As long as you do that, you can go as low as you want. Lovely. And for Digimon that were played with reduced costs or played for free, do I count the printed cost on the card or the cost my opponent actually paid to play them? No, you always go by the cost written on the card. It would be awesome if you could use a reduced play cost. Clearly that would make very little sense. Wouldn't really work. That's not how it works. Now, Senbondokan, I'm assuming that's a Digimon phrase. You reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, and you may play any number of Digimon cards with Mamamon in their names, whose play cost adds up to 15 or less among them, without paying. And then delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 6 or less for each Digimon you played for free. Lovely. Well, can I deliberately do this so I'm playing cards with less than 15 on purpose? Yes. It's completely up to you, as long as the total play cost is 15 or less. Here, you can actually choose to play none, and that is absolutely fine. Now, Pandemonium Flare is a 2-cost card. You may delete one of your Digimon to delete one of your opponent's unsuspended Digimon, whose level is less than or equal to the deleted Digimon's level. Okay. Well, if my opponent has no Digimon in play, or doesn't have a Digimon with a level equal to or lower than mine, can I just use this to delete my own Digimon? Yeah, go for it. Purple Digimon have good deletion skills sometimes. This works. Job's a good un. Don't worry your pretty little head about it. Now, Armor Texture is a rather interesting card. If you have a Digimon with armor in its form in play, you can use it ignoring its color requirements. And when you play it, you trash the top card of one of your Digimon with armor in its attribute, and then one of your Digimon can evolve into a Digimon with armor in its attribute in your hand by paying its Digivolution cost, and then you unsuspend that Digimon. So after using this card, I discard one card from the top of my Armor Stage Digimon stack. Can I evolve another of my Digimon? Yeah, that's fine. Just remember that that's the only one that gets put to active. After using this card, I discard one card from the top of my Armor Stage Digimon stack. Can I then choose not to evolve into an Armor Stage Digimon card in my hand? Absolutely you can, it's optional. Obviously if you don't Digivolve, you don't get to one to spend. And when I use this card to evolve my Digimon into an Armor Stage Digimon, does it let me evolve while ignoring Digivolution requirements? No! Because it doesn't say that. If it wanted you to ignore the Digivolution requirements, quite frankly, it would say so. Now, Creepymon, although that's the rubbish name, Demon is the Japanese name, and that's way cooler. When you're Digivolving, you trash 2 cards on the top of your deck for each of your opponent's Digimon. If 4 or more cards were trashed, you can play a level 5 or lower purple Digimon from your trash without paying its memory cost. Well, if I trashed 8 cards on the top of my deck, can I play 2 cards? Nah, we've seen this a million times. It is not 1 card per 4 cards trashed. It is 1 card if you trash at least 4. It also has an attacking skill for every 10 cards in your trash. Trash 3 cards on the top of your opponent's deck, and you get 3,000 power. Okay. So, if I got 20 cards in my trash, do I trash 6 cards on top of my opponent's deck and gain 6,000 power? Yes. Because this actually says for every 10 cards, ergo, if you've got 20 cards that activates twice, you trash 6 from your opponent, you gain 6,000 power. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. If you're going to play the Digimon TCG, you're going to need to know the rules, and now, hopefully, you do. So, yay! And now you know the deal. Tell me what you think about these rulings. Tell me which ones are exciting. Tell me which ones you don't like. Tell me basically anything you want to tell me in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wossy. That's where we talk Digimon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.